If you're a business owner who filed a tax extension, you might be feeling the pressure as that deadline approaches, or maybe you're just wondering what the next steps to take are. If so, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through everything that you need to do and give you some tips on how to prevent penalties and interest. And if you want to know exactly how to file a tax extension step by step for next year, I'm going to link a video where I do a full step-by-step of the process from start to finish. First off, let's talk about what a tax extension does and doesn't do when it comes to your tax return. Now, a tax extension is typically going to give you an extra 6 months to actually file your tax return. Okay, so if you were filing a personal 1040, typically the deadline is April 15th, but doing a tax extension gives you until October 15th. And if you were filing a 1120S for an S Corp or maybe a 1065 for a partnership, those were actually due March 15th, which means you have until September 15th if you did an extension for them. Now, the most important thing to know about tax extensions that a lot of people still don't realize is the fact that when you file that tax extension, sure, you get extra time to file the return, but you don't get extra time to pay. So just because you extended your 1040 doesn't mean that you won't have penalties and interest if you end up owing. So really what you need to be doing when you file that tax extension is making sure to pay an estimate of what tax you think you owe. Now, for a lot of people, they're wondering, how in the world am I supposed to know how much I owe? I haven't done my taxes yet, and that's the rub, right? That is the circular logic of it all, but the IRS does want you to estimate the amount that you're going to owe. A lot of people tend to just overpay a little bit more than they think they might actually owe, just in case. So depending on your risk tolerance and how averse you are to penalties and interest, you might choose to do the same thing. Now, if you do expect that you're going to owe taxes when you do file your return, you're probably not going to want to wait till that extension due date, okay? Because you are being charged each and every month that amount is outstanding. And the IRS is going to charge you 0.5% of the total balance that was not paid as of April 15th every single month, up to a maximum of 25% of the total amount owed. So that can rack up very, very quickly. So the quicker that you actually file that return, the better. Not only that, any unpaid amounts are accruing interest as well, and it's getting compounded daily. So you're gonna wanna make those payments as soon as you possibly can to make sure that those interests and penalties do not start racking up on you. Now, before you file those taxes though, there are a few things that you're gonna wanna make sure that you have covered. The first thing is that you wanna make sure those tax documents and books are organized. So you want to make sure that your bookkeeping is up to date, that you aren't missing anything important, and you want to get it organized enough so that you have access to all the information that you're going to need for that tax return. So whether you're doing your taxes yourself or you're outsourcing to someone, which I highly recommend, especially for business owners, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have all the information you need at your fingertips. And the second thing you wanna do, which is related, is make sure you're not missing out on any deductions, that you're getting all the deductions that you are entitled to. If you are a business owner, a solopreneur, a contractor, anything like that, you have additional deductions that you may be entitled to that you might not even be aware of. So don't forget those important things like mileage, potentially the home office deduction, even a portion of your cell phone and internet can be deductible to your business. So don't miss out on those important deductions. They can help reduce your overall tax bill, which is the goal. The biggest thing to remember when it comes to figuring out what are actual deductions and write-offs in your business is the IRS definition. So the IRS definition of a deduction is something that is ordinary and necessary in your business. Now, importantly, ordinary is just something that normally in your line of business, somebody might have that as an expense. And necessary, thankfully, doesn't mean it actually is something you must have. It just, again, means it's something that's fairly normal for somebody to have as an expense in your line of business. Okay, so it does need to be related to your line of business. It can't be something completely out of left field, but as long as that is the case, it's probably ordinary and necessary. So what are the steps to getting things organized? If everything is all over the place, how are you supposed to get things organized quickly? Well, I highly recommend either using something like a bookkeeping software, maybe something like QuickBooks Online that can integrate with your bank that you're using and pull in all the different transactions that you have. Or if you have a fairly simple business model, a very simple structure, maybe you're a 1099 contractor, solopreneur, you could even use a P&L worksheet similar to the one that I have, and that one is going to help you create your profit and loss. I generally don't recommend just keeping a laundry list of expenses because it's really easy to miss things and you're not going to really be able to see much important information about your business to help you make decisions. So I do recommend having an actual profit and loss that you can use both for tax purposes, but also to help inform your business and understand how your business is performing. Down below, I'm going to put my link both for QuickBooks Online. I have a great link that will save you money for a full year plus a free trial, which is a lot better than what you can get directly from QuickBooks. And I'm also going to link you to my profit and loss template if having an ongoing subscription software is not right for you right now in your business, then perhaps this profit and loss statement that you can buy one time and use ongoing will be the perfect fit for you. And the second thing that I recommend doing to get things in order to make sure that everything is as it should be is once you have all of your documents together, all of your books together, I do recommend doing some type of reconciliation to make sure you're not missing anything. So that might look like a reconciliation you do within your software to compare the bank statement to what the actual software has recorded, right? Or compare maybe your Stripe sales to the income that is being shown on your P&L. You do want to make sure that you're doing some checks to make sure that your documents are complete and accurate. And the last thing you're going to want to do, and if you've watched this channel at all, if not, why not? Subscribe. But if you've watched this channel at all, you know I talk a lot about documentation, so make sure to keep that documentation. Right? You can, again, keep it in a spreadsheet, keep it in a folder on your computer, take pictures with your phone, upload it into your software. There's lots of different ways to get organized. I have other videos on the topic of getting organized with your receipts, but you definitely want to make sure to have that documentation for if and when down the line you could potentially be audited by the IRS. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but it happens a lot, and so we need to be prepared just in case. So now that you know what to do if you filed an extension this year, we need to make sure that you don't need to file an extension going forward. And that means getting your business finances organized. The best way to do that is to make sure that you have a proper bookkeeping system in place all year long so that you don't have to scramble for taxes. And if you want to know how to do that, then definitely watch my full workshop, which is up on the screen right now so that you can get your finances organized for 2024 and beyond. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share on social media, and I'll see you next time.